air, earth, fire, loyalty. Long ago, the four wives lived together in harmony. Then, everything changed when the Phoenix wife demanded more. Only the patriarch, husband to all four elements, could play fair. But when the OG wives needed him most, he vanished. 18 seasons passed, and we have discovered the new star, an airbender named Christine. And although her cooking spin-off is just okay, she has a lot to live up to before she's ready to save anything. But I believe Christine can save this show.
Hello, welcome back. I'm Angie, this is my husband Tim, and today we are recapping from Plotz Plot. What sort of things would you like to leave behind here, Tim?
This show. The Coyote Pass plot. Lots of stuff, I guess.
He made a joke earlier saying we were the people that left behind the Kody head as a symbolism of leaving the show behind.
That would be funny. I don't know. If I made a papier-mâché Kody head, you know I'd want to smash it, right?
You wouldn't need to drive to the middle of nowhere, Arizona, and leave it there.
You could just light it on fire. That's free. You don't even have to drive out into the middle of the desert.
We'll arrive here shortly. I don't have any announcements. Let's get into it. Sister Wives Season 19, Episode 20. For everything, there is a season.
Turn, turn, turn. It's a song.
Does that have to do with the title?
Yeah, there's a song that goes, for everything there is a season, turn, turn, turn. Actually, that's actually how the scripture goes too. I don't know why they picked that one, but...
Because obviously they're not going to do more episodes for the rest of this month. So there is a season come spring for the rest of it, I guess.
Maybe it means that no matter how crap the show is, there will always be another season.
I think they'll do another season, so I think that fits.
Well, I'd be shocked if they didn't try to get at least 3 more seasons out of this limping along show.
Let's begin. We start off inside the McMansion. We actually start off with Janelle, but I'm saving her segment for last. Kody is washing some dishes to turn Robyn on.
Hot.
He expressed that before in Season 7.
You know, it's so cute watching you wash dishes.
I know that's the reason I do it, because it turns you on.
Hey.
Hey.
What you doing?
I'm trying to turn you on.
What, by washing the dishes?
Yeah, I know what it does to you.
Robyn says the easiest way to a woman's heart is to clean the house. I will say, I agree with her.
Obviously, Kody knows how to please Robyn better than he knows how to please any of the other wives, so I guess it makes sense.
Well, he certainly never cleaned for Christine. Remember that episode when he went...
It's like, what are you doing all day? It's certainly not cooking and cleaning, because then... Listen, there's nothing to say here.
Oh, wow. God, Kody doing a get back in the kitchen line. Cody's such an asshole.
Kody has to say that he flirts with Robyn by flexing at her after taking a shower wearing nothing but a towel. We know the OG3 said that Kody flexes in the mirror a lot, so I just took that to mean Kody likes to flirt with himself.
I think he is aroused by himself.
Yeah, he isn't looking at Robyn. He's more enamored with how he thinks she sees him.
Yes, the most classical of narcissist complexes.
Kody is just so in love with himself. He's very enamored.
Yeah, he's...
In the background, you can see a lemon holder. It looks kind of like a Christmas tree, but lemons. Because we know he loves his hot water and lemons.
I always just assumed he did that because he was a cheapskate.
That he wanted a free lemonade. Yeah, that too.
He could just get his own lemonade. Oh, unless he's still a cheapskate at home.
But he probably bought those lemons.
I don't know. Maybe it's decoration. God.
Aurora walks into the kitchen and pretends that she didn't know her parents were filming a conversation.
Almost like the filming crew wasn't there.
Like, girl, you're mic'd up. We know this is staged. Stop making it look more staged. Granted,
She was just doing what she was told to do.
yeah.
Aurora is painfully socially awkward, and she is now going to go on national television to talk about her life. I feel most people would be incredibly nervous about doing that. And here we have Aurora, who can't go to the mailbox without somebody holding her hand, and yet she's going to put herself on national television like that. I think it makes sense to be awkward.
You can definitely see her nerves coming through when she's talking to her parents. Aurora says she really likes the church she and Brianna have been attending. She wants to take the next step and get baptized. Robyn asks for more clarification, but Aurora tells her she's not getting baptized, quote, into the church. Understandably, Kody and Robyn are confused. Kody equates baptism to membership within said church. He also wants to make a distinction between having a relationship with God and having a relationship with a church. And I was thinking, who cares? Aurora is 22. If she wants to be baptized just to be more integrated into this community, let her do that. That's kind of why most people go to church anyways.
I think the reason why Kody is so trepidatious, is that a word?
Trepidated. I don't know.
Yeah, the reason why Kody is so
Anxious
about this is because he doesn't want, hypothetically, all of his children, but at least his daughters, to join a cult like he did, because I believe that Kody thinks it ruined his life. And he has understood that his faith experience is one in which he has a relationship with God, but he doesn't want there to be an authoritarian body to boss him around, because that's what got him into this mess.
in the first place. But then again, he kind of wants to repeat it because, as he said in a previous episode, he would be fine if they attended the mainstream Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Cody's nothing if not a dichotomy of contradictions.
Yup. He doesn't know what he wants. He's really messed up in his head.
I mean, God, I wouldn't want to be Kody.
Aurora tries to alleviate her dad's fears. She wants to get baptized for no other reason than to be closer to God. We watch a scene where Kody almost tears up. He mentions a time where he prayed for a wind beneath his wings experience or an answer to where God was. This prayer happened after the breakup of his family. He felt he had no support from the Almighty. Since then, he has accepted the situation, but always prays for those strong emotions. He mentions the wind beneath his wings again. He must be listening to a lot of Bette Midler.
You are the wind beneath my wings.
Yes.
If you could tell outside their window, it does seem to be warmer. As we know from last week, they said they filmed at the end of summer. I'm unsure what season it is right now, but clearly this happened after Garrison's passing.
Okay, so they were just lying to us with all the snow.
Oh, with Janelle?
No, they showed snowy versions of the the Shira Chateau.
Same thing.
So it looked snowy on the outside, but then they filmed the inside and then tried to pass it off as being in the winter?
I think so.
I mean, yeah, it sounds like something they do.
That might be a reason for his almost tears.
Maybe.
Anyways, Aurora does ask if Kody can baptize her along with her pastor. We know Kody agrees to this. In a screenshot from their church's social media page, Kody is right beside her. This surprised me. I've only been baptized in the LDS church, and in my experience, only active Mormons have the authority to baptize incoming members. But I guess this denomination of Christianity allows non-members to baptize, or at least co-baptize their own congregants.
There was definitely confusion with Robyn and Kody and also with Angie. And I think a big part of that is because of how Mormons in particular view baptism and how other Christian sects typically view baptism. In Mormonism, it's extremely important that the people who do the baptizing have an authority to do it. I feel stupid after all these years only just now realizing that Mormonism is extremely authoritarian, despite the fact that we would always talk about authority. So only people who have an unbroken chain all the way to Joseph Smith can perform these types of churchy opportunities. And that's not really the case in a lot of other Christian sects. Also, the question came up, do you need to be baptized again? Because in most Christian denominations, they will believe that a baptism counts as long as it is performed in the Trinitarian formula, the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, etc., which Mormons do say that as well when they're doing the baptism, but technically Mormons aren't Trinitarian because they don't believe in the Nicene Creed, which means that it doesn't count even though it's the literal same words. So I'm not surprised that they would want her to be baptized again. So if she was, say, baptized in Methodist church and then went to here, they probably wouldn't require her to get baptized again. This also goes to the idea of being baptized into a church. Mormonism holds that the only baptism that counts is the official LDS baptism, and you can't get baptized and then go on your jolly way. You need to stay inside of the official structure of the church, because the Mormon church itself is the body that causes salvation to occur.
Random thought. When Kody converted to the AUB, do you think their sect of Mormonism made him get baptized again?
I highly doubt it.
Because we know when Garrison converted to the mainstream LDS church, as we've seen, he was wearing the baptismal font attire. He obviously had to get baptized again, because I'm assuming he got baptized in the AUB church, just like Aurora. It's strange that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints
demands the rebaptizing
of other sects that is technically just offshoots of their own religion.
I think the AUB might be a specific exemption from this, because the AUB believes that the mainstream LDS church is still God's church, but they believe that the AUB is the secret in the shadows church.
They will hold all the keys until Christ comes. I don't know what they view the mainstream church as, just as some sort of vessel that can proselytize when they can't.
Post-editing Angie here, someone asked Benjamin about who was allowed to practice polygamy in their ideology. He actually answered what the role the mainstream Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints played.
And in the AUB, at least, this is really clearly tied to what they call your bloodline, meaning that it is absolutely essential that you are descended from the house of Israel and do not have any black blood in order to be one of these people who is considered worthy to participate in polygamy and to be a god in the next life. So basically, if you don't have the right bloodline, you don't get to practice polygamy. In fact, the AUB believes that that's why the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints exists, is to kind of give a home for everyone who doesn't have the right bloodline, but want to believe in the true doctrines of the restored gospel. They get to live in the LDS Church, and then those with the pure bloodline, they get to kind of come up and out into the AUB and become these, priests and gods and kings and stuff. So that's the answer to the first question. Not everyone is going to live polygamy. Only the righteous and pure-blooded are going to live polygamy.
Yeah, the mainstream LDS church are the normies, and they're the in-the-know group, I guess. And so that's why this whole baptism thing confused them so much. Kody and Robyn.
Another question. You Googled different Christian sects and what they accept as baptism in order to, I guess, to count.
Well, it's not about membership. It's about you need to do it to achieve salvation. And so if you do it in a wrong way and you go to the church, they'll say, oh, wait, that was wrong. You need to do it the right way. It's not about getting acceptance into the group.
Obviously, there's so many Christian sects. Does that count for all of them? There's going to be some exceptions here and there.
You have to be in network, if you know what I mean. Like, obviously, Protestant sects are all going to be much more willing to accept it. Then you've got your Roman Catholic, and then you've got your Eastern Orthodox, which are much more strict about it. Again, it depends entirely how similar it is to the one they do. Some people do by immersion, some people do the sprinkling of water. Some sects don't do any water at all for theirs because it's entirely symbolic.
But I guess it depends on the church that they're attending.
Yes.
I don't know. You can tell me if it's universally accepted and which ones have a different way of doing things.
And it also depends on how important the actual church structure is to the salvation, because some churches, it's much more about the personal relationship. And in some cases, it's entirely based on whether or not the clergy allows you to basically have salvation. It's interesting. Anyway,
Okay. talked a lot about this. So yes, Kody expresses the same confusion about baptism in that does he need the proper authority to baptize Aurora? Aurora then vouches for her pastor, saying it's totally cool for her dad to baptize her.
That reminds me, there was a Reddit comment that I saw while looking this up where one of the people on r/Christianity said that if God requires baptism to be super ritualistic, doesn't that feel a little too pagan? And it made me think of Kody.
Yes. He's like, baptism and the Easter bunny are too pagan. Aurora hugs each of her parents. For me, this felt weird.
It was overlong.
As sweet as this scene appeared to be, it was giving the vibes of when Maddie asked Kody to officiate her wedding or when Aurora asked to have Kody accompany her to get her ears pierced. As we know, Kody wants his children to make these grand gestures to include him in their lives because if they don't, he straight up ignores them. Heck, Savannah even said per Janelle that she was going to have her brothers walk her down the aisle since Kody is so absent from her life.
Yeah. It's also super weird how stressed out Aurora was in all of this. Did she think Kody was going to say no?
We know that in the previous church episode, they did say they know how intimidating their dad gets about religion. That probably has to do with, oh, is he going to shoot this down because he thinks that we're already attending something cult-like?
Maybe, I guess. I think it's kind of scary that they feel so frightened of their own father.
Mm-hmm. Aurora did say she was nervous announcing this to her parents. Kody says he will continue supporting any of his kids' spiritual paths. Again, the juxtaposition of Kody being a devoted father to Robyn's kids against the OG-13 is disconcerting, so I don't know what Puddle Monkey's goal was in showing this.
It was to have footage because the show has no content.
Because otherwise their other goal would be to present him as an attentive parent, but again, to family that make it convenient for him.
He doesn't even have to put his shoes on to be there for Aurora, so it's not that much of an accomplishment.
We head on up to Parowan. Meri is throwing a retirement party for her family friend and ex-employee, Madeline.
Oh man, we're gonna miss Madeline. She's been in the show for how many seasons now?
Nope. Never heard of this woman.
What? You mean they're just using this as an excuse to have a party because for some reason the Browns got it to their head that party equals content?
They didn't show a lot of footage from this party, so I don't even know what kind of content they were trying to eke from it.
Maybe the Browns found out that they could get production to pay for everything in their parties. And so they just decided, well, then we're just going to have lots of parties.
Probably. If I had a group that would pay for whatever desserts I want, I would probably cash in on that too. And we'll talk about that. Madeline was the cook at Lizzie's. One of the desserts they are serving are Madeleines. Which, fun fact, Madeleines are my favorite dessert. I tried baking them several times, but I can never get the light, fluffy texture that is associated with them. This is why I always go for the store-bought ones. Madeline arrives. I get the feeling this woman has a no-nonsense personality because she was very serious throughout Meri and Jenn's gift-giving and talking points. She's like, shut up.
I thought it was awkward the way that they tried to hug her and interview her the second she got through the door because they didn't anticipate that she would bring people with her to a retirement party. And you could see them trying to get inside the house behind them. And
she's like, no, you are filming the second you get inside. We know you are retired, but you are still on the clock.
Yes, it was awkward. And I'm thinking, why can't they just let everyone in first? Did production really just think it was so much better to greet at the door? Does it really matter?
I guess not.
Anyway, it made me feel deeply uncomfortable.
Madeline does say she tried not to cry when Meri was talking about Bonnie, but Madeline still strikes me as an, okay, get this camera out of my face kind of person.
That's probably why we never saw her before.
The party must have been pretty uninteresting for filming purposes because, again, there was hardly any footage from it. Jenn and Meri are seen cleaning up the food and having a serious talk. Meri has had concerns on whether she wants to keep running a B&B. After all, it was never her dream to have an inn. It was her dream to have this ancestral home in the family.
Wait, that's not what she told us. Did Meri lie to us?
I forgot what season was, 11 or 10 or something, when she was getting the inn for the first time. I don't know if it was a joke or something where she said, maybe I won't run it as a B&B. Maybe my mom will just live there. And that upset Kody a lot, which I can see why he would be upset, but I guess she just wants to go back to her original plan of just keeping it. Again, she might be thinking less B&B and more regular Airbnb.
I mean, she told us that she wanted to turn it into a B&B. That was her dream. And it turns out she just wanted to have this house as a souvenir.
Mm-hmm.
To keep along with all of the rest of her old shit that she never actually deals with until it is time to destroy it.
Yes, again, she's very nostalgic, but an entire inn is just really expensive. I will repeat myself. She did take out a third loan for it. Some people in my comments were saying the loan was so that she could pay off the land or something.
Didn't Jenn move her entire family out here just to run this place?
Yes. Jenn might have been wanting to relocate to a less crowded city anyways.
Parowan isn't a city.
Town, then.
It's half of a town. It's so small. If you turn the camera, there's the highway. This was all just her vanity thing?
Who knows? Because Meri says she wants to probably convert it to an event space. It doesn't make sense to change the entire B&B because her cook retired. This makes me think she wanted to revamp this business for a while.
The big question is, why would anybody ever want to go there? Parowan is out in the middle of nowhere. With an Airbnb, you want to have a place that people want to go. But there's no reason to ever go to Parowan. The only reason anyone would want to go to Parowan is so that they could say, I went to Meri's B&B.
But she said in a previous season that Brian Hood is a pretty popular tourist destination for skiing.
I still don't buy it. I just feel like I've been lied to, and it makes me feel deeply uncomfortable, Meri.
Anyways, Meri wants to delay plans about shutting it down, so Jenn questions her on her other dreams. Meri repeats that she does want to find a man. We hear yet again that she has gone on several dates. Some suitors were better left in the friend zone, whilst others were put on her block list. She laughs, saying some guys didn't get the memo the first time and that things couldn't work out between them.
I have a hard time imagining Meri's single dating life. Maybe if they had somebody on the show, or they showed one of these dates, that might be halfway interesting.
We know, I think she was in a relationship with Amos in the beginning of 2024, I think. I don't know what month it is now, so it appears that since they didn't work out, maybe Meri didn't want that as a storyline.
I don't like the way that the Browns get to choose what is and what isn't storylines.
Well, we don't know. He might appear in the last 6 episodes.
If he did, you'd think they would show it, because that would be a huge draw.
I don't know, because as we said before, after people dug up some stuff about Amos's past, they did break up shortly thereafter. Mm-hmm. So it's possible he's not on the show at all.
Okay.
He's not a David. That he's comfortable with the limelight.
Yes.
Jenn says that Meri could fix her B&B problem and her man problem at the same time. This can be done by designating rooms at the inn for potential husbands.
I'm just perplexed by Jenn. This doesn't seem like a normal conversation. This is definitely a, hey, the cameras are here kind of conversation.
Mm-hmm. She's saying, don't make it an inn anymore. Just make it your house and have your husbands live here. Jenn questions Meri how many rooms Lizzie's has and what is reverse polygamy called. Meri answers that it's still the same word.
I love it when Meri just deadpan tells Jenn she's wrong about things. That's my favorite part of the show recently.
Yes. We learned from Seeking Sister Wife that polygamy is technically a gender-neutral term to describe a person having multiple partners.
We practice polygamy, specifically polygyny. Polygamy is the umbrella term for a multi-person relationship. And in polygyny, it's geared more towards the male having separate wives. And that's what we're striving to do.
The word Jenn is looking for is polyandry. In any case, Meri is not interested in that. She doesn't know what the future holds. She asserts that this man doesn't have to be local. She would be fine if that guy had his own business in Minnesota. Either way, Meri's plans for the inn is heavily dependent on what her future relationship will look like. She posits the inn could turn into some event space, not necessarily a bed and breakfast anymore.
I don't think she really wants Lizzie's to be a business at all. She just likes to own old things.
That's possible. Again, Meri, this is a very expensive old thing. Is it worth it? We do know a lot of her family members came when she was closing in on the inn. They must have Meri's support as well. They want this too.
It's money coming into their family. Of course they're going to want it.
I guess they also want it for the sentimental purposes as well. This was their great-great-grandma Lizzie's or Sarah Davenport or something.
How do you be super sentimental towards a person you've never met?
I don't know. You tell me. Your family is really big into genealogy.
Yeah, and I've always thought it was stupid.
We know some of you people are family history enthusiasts. I'm sure that pastime can be very fulfilling as long as you don't drop several $100,000 in order to fulfill it.
Amen.
We are now at a storage facility in Flagstaff. The former second wife reveals that she is in fact, gasp, moving to North Carolina today. What else did you expect these people to be doing?
Parties and moving. That's it.
Janelle's help today involves Christine, David, Truly, Bea, Gwen, and of course, Gabe, who is wearing an iconic I Am Knuff sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Janelle makes sure to point out she's leaving behind Gabriel, Garrison, and Savannah in Flagstaff. We know, according to Janelle's Instagram, Savannah stayed at Maddie's for the summer and is planning on attending East Carolina University. But I guess she didn't travel with her mom this episode.
I guess not.
It is supposedly January. She still has school. She hasn't graduated yet, right?
Didn't they have a graduation party?
They did. I don't know. Again, this is so out of order. Because that would have been in 2023. I have no idea when episode 12 was, when that happened. But right now it's 2024. Janelle says she has loved living in Flagstaff, but is looking forward to the change. That change being the different environment. She won't live next to the mountains anymore. The second change is, of course, managing Tata Farms. She reminds us that the new land she, Maddie, and Caleb bought will be used to build houses and to grow flowers. She is very intimidated by these projects, but hopes for the best. Janelle isn't used to the East Coast. She spent summers at her grandparents' down in Florida, but to make this her new living arrangement is really big. We watch a few seconds of Janelle explaining the gates at the storage facility. She is notifying a worker or some person that the truck David is driving can't stop in tandem with the gate's timer. I don't know why the producers left that bit in. It seems like filler.
It was another example of, oh, something's going to happen. We tricked you. Nothing happened.
Because in the last episode, apparently people found out that the Australian versions or international versions of this show have additional clips than the American version.
Really?
When Janelle was on her Zoom call with Meri, she was saying that Kody closed the family account without her notice, so she couldn't get any of the statements from it. And I think that was a very important piece of information. So I don't know what else in the Australian version was included in episode 20. That is important information, but they leave this in.
That's weird. I wonder why the Australian version is different. Maybe there are laws in Australia where the commercials can't take up a certain percentage of the airtime. But then again, why would they cut this bit out? Wait, was this in the Australian version? You can't stop.
I don't know. That's why I said I don't know what they did with this current episode. Anyways, yeah, it's BS. Christine makes sure to note that she and Janelle are as thick as thieves.
What?
She compares their friendship to that of Thelma and Louise.
Oh, wow, that rhymed. Yeah, we get it. You like each other. Ooh, that's a surprise. It may shock you guys to hear this, but me and Angie, we're like super close. Who'd have thought, right? These people love to give us this dumb, redundant information.
I think they're just saying that to emphasize that they are the Brown family. They are the core. And Robyn, Kody, and Meri and their 5 aren't or something. That's what Christine was trying to say last episode.
But they only represent 40% of the group.
40%? I thought they were more than that.
Oh, you're counting the kids. I'm not counting the kids. The kids aren't sister wives.
But I guess they are the main Brown family.
I guess.
Because there's more of them. Meanwhile, down in another part of Flagstaff, Kody and Robyn are driving out of Coyote Pass. I don't know if they were driving to it or driving out of it.
It doesn't matter.
Kody has a very furrowed look on his face as he complains about Janelle's move. Apparently, one of his children accidentally leaked that detail that she is moving to North Carolina. They ask their dad if he could promise them to not repeat what they said. Kody, who of course leaks like a sieve, can't do that and snitches to the producers.
Well, he didn't say which kid said it.
I mean, it's still something they asked him not to share.
Maybe they didn't want to be outed as the one that talked to Kody.
Oh.
Because they might be expelled from the Christine Janelle group if people find out that they talked to Kody.
Yeah.
I just feel like some of the kids might feel that they will be expelled from their in-group if it comes out that they even talked to their father.
Possibly. I'm not sure why Janelle didn't want Kody to know. I mean, it's okay that she didn't tell him explicitly, but for her to say, make sure you keep this a secret from him, it's kind of weird why he's not even allowed to hear it through the grapevine.
It's one thing to not care if other people know, but it's kind of weird when you get angry that they know.
Maybe the kid that told this to their dad thought that it should have been a secret.
It kind of makes it sound like maybe it's not fun being in that part of the Brown family either.
Who do you think the kid was?
One of them that spoke to Kody. Who knows? It could have been any of them. They probably all knew. And even if Kody really didn't have a reason to be told, it still probably hurts.
We'll get to that. Kody reflects on his relationships with each of his exes. As we know, Meri, the favorite ex-wife, is on amicable terms with him. He hears of Christine periodically through people mentioning her offhandedly. She's moved on and is living her best life with David. But for Janelle, he is completely in the dark. He was always hoping that both of them would work this out. And it confuses me why Kody is saying this because in his confessional, he seems to be having the same mindset Robyn had during the ATV scene. During that episode, Robyn kept asking Kody if he and Janelle could work it out, and Kody was adamant that that was impossible. Janelle wants nothing to do with him, and currently, right now, he's thinking, well, maybe there was a sliver of hope of getting back together. I'm thinking, no, it's over between you guys.
I think the reason, if I put on my Kody interpreter hat on, that Kody's so much more upset about Janelle as opposed to Meri and Christine is he believes that the reason that Janelle left is because he f***ed up.
He thinks Christine and Meri were the problem, but he thinks he genuinely screwed up his relationship with Janelle.
Yes, I think that's the case. He feels bad because he realizes that he's the reason that Janelle left. He is glad that Meri's gone because he's never wanted Meri to be around in the first place, and he thinks it is Christine's jealousy that caused her to leave, which is on her, and he doesn't like the Janelle thing because he knows 100% that it is his own fault that Janelle left.
Well, he tried to blame it on Janelle by saying, it's your fault for not trying to influence your children to like me, or that I have a point of view in all of this.
And I think that he regrets saying that, and he feels if he had just said things better, she would have stuck around. I think that's the reason. He was mad at Christine because Christine did him wrong, but he's mad at himself because he feels that he did Janelle wrong.
Hopefully, that would make him a little bit more human.
I mean, hopefully. A monster can feel bad, but it doesn't change the fact
that they're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
The drive continues. Christine and Janelle are in the same blue Tacoma, whilst David and Truly are in the moving van. Janelle researched some new stops along the way to make the road trip more interesting. She found a site called Plotz Plot, an orange storage container by the side of the road. People come here to leave behind a keepsake of their old life to symbolize their new one moving forward. This site was made to honor a man named David Plotz. He was the former CEO of a company, and he later moved on from it. To mark the occasion, his former colleagues bought 1 acre in the middle of Arizona and set up this pilgrimage site.
Do you think that Janelle thought this up or production thought this up?
I want to say production. Janelle doesn't strike me as someone who needs gestures in order to leave things behind. I know her trainer, Sean, or someone made her throw a piece of paper up on top of a mountain, but I don't think she needed that during her weight loss journey episode.
Yeah, I think that such displays of sentimentality are not something that Janelle vibes with.
We'll see more of that apathy later. Speaking of, Christine does want in on this experience. She bought a dream catcher when she still lived in Flagstaff because she has had waking nightmares of living in a polygamous house still married to Kody. Sounds like PTSD.
It does.
Christine feels her dreams have shifted, so she no longer needs this symbol. If you couldn't tell already, she's going to leave this keepsake behind at Plotz Plot. Janelle says she doesn't have that problem of having bad dreams of Kody. She thinks their relationship just slowly died, and it is what it is.
I think it's interesting how these two women both are getting out of this bad relationship with Kody, but they really aren't sharing the same experience. Mm-hmm. They're trying to share the same experience, but they don't have the same perspective on all of this. You can see that Christine struggles with that as she tries to get Janelle to validate the things that she says.
We'll see that later when they talk about the spiritual releases. Christine sort of implied she wants Janelle to just sleep with a man just to get spiritually released. We know she kids about that after, but Janelle obviously says that she's annoyed by that proposal. We segue to the topic of Kody. The last time Janelle did something fun with him was for her birthday. As we know, they went to Mariposa, the fanciest restaurant in all of Sedona.
Oh, wow.
Janelle confesses that she was using Kody for a free dinner. Christine laughs at the admission.
Yeah.
Kody says there was no expectation to get back together.
That's a lie.
They were just in the friend zone.
And he wanted to rectify that.
Which I don't, as you said, Tim, believe, because during that episode, Kody said he put on his nicest shirt since he wanted to reconcile with Janelle, and he didn't know why they couldn't. So don't lie, Kody.
Tell the truth, admit that you were sad, and you were a sad little lonely boy. Didn't you do an animation on that, on Mariposa? I liked the line,
I'm going to get reservations to Sedona's most exclusive restaurant, Mariposa. That will trick Janelle into loving me again.
Okay.
Christine asked her friend what was the final straw in their marriage. Janelle's markation was the fight, which I'm guessing was her college apartment argument where Kody slammed the door behind him.
Mm-hmm.
That was the highlight of season 18. I don't know what the highlight of this current one is.
I don't know. Maybe seeing Robyn get thrown from her ATV. Maybe. Yeah. This has been such a downer of a season, though.
They arrive to Plotz Plot. Christine leaves behind the Dreamcatcher and her traumatic past with Flagstaff. Janelle is leaving behind the heart tree pendant Kody designed for her on Mother's Day. This was a design that was sold on the My Sister Wives Closet website, which I will say Janelle's necklace was probably the strongest design out of all the four women.
Yeah.
Christine had a fairy with the moon that had harsh etching. Meri had a heart with Fidelis written on a banner. It resembled a stereotypical biker's tattoo.
Of an ex-Marine.
That would commemorate their mom or something.
Yeah.
And Robyn's phoenix looked like squashed lettuce.
He didn't design them, right? Somebody else did.
Well, he tried to get help from somebody else. That's when they suggested little amendments here and there. That's where they suggested a Latin word.
Because Kody originally wanted Meri to be a dog.
Oh my goodness, are you serious?
Yes.
Well, I was thinking a long time. Meri is extremely loyal. You know, her loyalty is her gift. And so I really need to find something that symbolizes that, because I'm looking for a symbol. I got the phoenix, maybe another animal thing. Well, that's a dog.
Kody, no woman wants a gift of a dog representing her and your relationship with him.
Oh my goodness. Kody's almost completely unveiled contempt for Meri, even then. Oh, I love it.
Anyways, Janelle's necklace was a heart tree that was made of these black stones. I thought it did look pretty good.
Comparatively, yes.
Yes. But she is leaving it behind. Hopefully a Sister Wives fan didn't take it. They open up the orange shed, and there is already a ton of mementos inside. David comments on the keepsakes that are two heads. These heads look like piñatas or paper mache. Mm-hmm. I will say they do resemble Kody and Christine, mostly Kody. I don't know.
Maybe production put them in there just to make something happen.
Because it did have
the dingle dangles.
Well, there were a lot of dingle dangles.
Yeah.
But it did have his facial hair. It was the right hair color.
Maybe production was like, we need to speed things along. We gotta give them something to actually interact with because these people are boring.
It feels like too much of a coincidence. Janelle is next. She leaves behind her tree necklace in exchange for making her own tree. She is referring to, I guess, the Tata tree.
Her potato tree.
It hurts her because she really did appreciate the gift, but she knew it was time to leave it behind. Meri understands this feeling. She's always thought leaving behind physical items always made her feel lighter. She's been experiencing that a lot within the past year.
Meri must feel very weighed down because she loves to keep a physical object.
They get back on the road. Christine brings up the topic of travel. She admits that back in the day when they traveled together as a family, she was super needy of Kody's time. Kody would also never sleep where he was supposed to during those trips, and we've seen him do this in season 8.
I told everybody I was going to be staying in marriage order, so I'll start with Meri, then Janelle, then Christine, then Robyn. I was going to be at the hotel, but I like this place. I want to stay here tonight.
Right? Oh, wow. Wow. You are seriously in trouble at this point with absolutely more than probably one of your wives.
Listen, ladies, you don't want me to go to that place where I don't give a
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because when I don't, we're going to have a really bad trip. And right now, we're really having a good trip.
Excited to have dinner.
To be honest with you, what I thought is, wow, Kody, when you sort of arbitrarily change your schedule for no real reason except for that you liked where we were staying for the night, that's when I kind of was like, whoa, okay, well, you've just created a lot of tension.
Janelle had the opposite stance, saying she'd rather not have Kody with her at all during those excursions since he was a disruption. The former second wife does claim Kody was very fair with his time except when they traveled. This is not what she purported last season.
When he's at my house, he doesn't really come home till about 6 p.m. I know he ends up at Robyn's a lot to help with the little kids, but I really am not sure where he is.
Kody was always pretty good about being really fair with his time. He would just sort of, stay with one family and then he'd move on. When we'd travel, it was like all bets were out.
She would say he would never arrive earlier than 6 since he was always at Robyn's. Her kids voiced to her that in the cul-de-sac, their father spent too much time at Robyn's house.
These people need to stick to whatever story they're going to tell.
It's hard to defend any one wife's narrative when they do seem to vacillate between saying Kody is good versus saying Kody is incompetent.
I think it depends entirely on whatever kind of narrative they're trying to push at any one time. The entire reason that any of these people have any money at all is because of the fact that they all got together and lied to us about polygamy at the very beginning. And that was so that they could maintain this narrative. The narrative that they are just good polygamists in a world that hates them. And then they found out that that wasn't a great narrative. Then it was maybe Robyn's terrible. Then it is, I don't get along with Meri. It's whatever they need the narrative to be to support them where they are. And it's irritating because if they had just been honest from the very beginning of the show, we wouldn't have a show.
Maybe that would have been for the best.
It would have been for the best.
They were obviously activist in the beginning, which is not great. This lifestyle turned out to be...
all the things they claimed it wasn't?
Yes. Robyn says that she never tracked Kody's time. But if you recall, in season 18, she said the wives didn't think Kody was being fair with his rotation because they don't track his time, implying that she does that.
I really wasn't really paying attention to Kody's schedule. I don't know. It seemed like it was a thing a lot for a couple of my sister wives.
Different people think that Kody is not being fair with his time, and he really actually is. They're just not tracking it because they're struggling.
Again, the one person who changes their damn story the most is Robyn.
Yes, I also vaguely remember her having a calendar in the background, and the only events it had on it were the words filming, doctor's appointment, or Kody.
Yeah.
I can't remember which episode that was in, but she definitely tracked where Kody was. I don't know what she's talking about when she claims otherwise.
I get the impression that Kody was stressed out by all of the crap that he had to do with his family, and sometimes he would just check out. And people would say, oh, he's at Robyn's, because that fit their narrative that Robyn was this leech on the family, when in fact, I think that Kody just went off.
He definitely says later that he was too flexible with his schedule. He should have planned things a bit better concerning how he allocated his time.
I think that he just went away. I would not be surprised if Kody didn't just go to a hotel to be by himself or something.
What? His office at Robyn's is not good enough.
No, I really think that he didn't want to be near anybody sometimes. I get that idea because, again, he kept saying that he wanted his own house or his own stuff. It somehow became that he was at Robyn's house, which he probably was at Robyn's more so, but I don't think that Robyn was the explanation for all of the problems.
Well, so you think he wanted to be left alone, which I feel the office, the library in Christine's house, the little wrestling room she had made for him, there are little pockets of privacy he could have had. He doesn't have to go all the way somewhere else.
But there's always going to be someone who's going to want something from you. You've got 18 children.
Well, that's his problem. He made these people.
Yes.
He married these women.
Yes. I'm not saying it's not his entire own fault. It is his full responsible for all of this. And that doesn't mean that he's going to enjoy it.
So let's not feel bad for him.
Oh, I don't feel bad for Kody. I don't know. I try to understand him, and maybe that's my first mistake.
Meri says that Kody did not respect her time. She liked to plan events ahead of schedule, and more often than not, he would show up at her house unexpectedly. I would find that annoying as well. How can you schedule trips, appointments, an event concerning a kid, how much to make for dinner, whether or not to eat out for lunch if someone isn't communicating where they'll be?
Kody definitely does not want to live a structured life. I don't think he can.
I mean, he claimed to have been doing that in season 1, episode 1, where he said, I need to keep a schedule or else one wife is going to think I'm not being fair.
He also purported that he loved Meri.
And he also maintained that polygamy works and that he has enough time for all of his children.
We don't know who any of these people really are because they keep changing their stories so much at the time. And I think that's one of the reasons why people might be irritated with people this season that they were rooting for last season, because it seems like they're entirely new people.
It is frustrating for me to see people have favorite characters in the show at this point, because the wives and Kody are incredibly inconsistent.
Yeah, one scene you might be going, yeah, you go, Christine. And then another scene you are just thinking, oh my gosh, is she still talking about this? I thought that that's the opposite of what you wanted to do. Or Meri saying, I'm just girl power. And then saying, yeah, I could really use a patriarch to oppress me right now.
Kody agrees that he does fly by the seat of his pants. In other words, he was very disorganized. He uses one of his favorite words again, which is creative, to describe how he went about his polygamist rotation. He contrasts his routine to that of other polygamist men. Some husbands are flexible, whilst still maintaining some organization. Others are too rigid to the point they won't change their rotation based on an upcoming wife's birthday.
That was an issue on the other polygamy show.
Brady shared a birthday with one of the wives, and so his wives found that an issue that Robyn, the second wife, held this special bond with him.
Didn't they say that they were upset that they couldn't spend the day with him on his birthday?
Yes, because they were also celebrating her.
It makes me think of Christine, where Christine says, I don't really care whether or not you celebrate my birthday on my birthday.
Oh yeah, that was when Hunter, I think, came home from the Air Force Academy or something.
And I was saying to myself, yes, Christine, that is a you go, Christine moment.
So I've got to figure out what we're going to do about your birthday. Birthdays have become kind of a big deal. With a big family, I'm spread kind of thin. Birthdays are the time that I'm actually able to give my wives and kids this total attention.
Let's do my birthday on another day. That's super easy.
Let's do your birthday date after.
Okay, the day after or something like that?
Yeah.
So for me, I don't mind moving it to another day when it's something like this that's super, super important. Because I mean, in plural marriage, there's time. This has happened. This has happened before.
Oh, you hate it when
don't-
I decide what I'm doing with my schedule.
No. When
Yes,
I
you
don't
do.
like, when is my birthday? I don't like that when it's my birthday.
Okay.
I think one of our biggest frustrations with Kody is he doesn't tell us when he's going to be at our house until like 5 o'clock that night. Why can't you just say you're going to be here tomorrow? Because otherwise I'm going to make plans. I'm going to do stuff. I'm not going to stay home and wait.
I don't want to ever tell you what to do with your schedule, but I don't like just finding out about things like all of a sudden.
Here's the thing, as a plural wife, you have to really sort of roll with the punches a little bit. Kody has a lot of demands on him, and he has to weigh out what's the most important thing. And sometimes that's hard for wives to understand. They're like, no, my thing is the most important thing.
Yeah,
All right.
It's great.
All right. Christine was really cool about it, but you just never know if in the future there'll be some kind of regret that a wife has that comes back up. It's like, you remember that time you missed my birthday because of Hunter's graduation? You just never know if that will come back to haunt you.
Who really cares whether or not the birthday is celebrated on the actual birthday? Who is that pedantic?
And even if a wife had his birthday on a certain day, they could easily just trade days with the wife whose day that was supposed to land on.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science.
Wasn't Christine upset at Kody because Kody assumed that Christine would get mad
Mm-hmm.
about it? And Christine's like, I don't care. It seems like Kody didn't take that to heart because he still thinks that it was a big deal. I don't know. Maybe it was a big deal for some of the wives, just not Christine.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Kody admits he belongs to the former category where he was too flexible but highly disorganized. Back to the road trip, Janelle recalls that when her family first went public, she was a bit apprehensive about the show popularizing the term sister wife. In hindsight, she likes what the saying has evolved into, a close female friend who works for the good of her family. Janelle and Christine still refer to each other as such.
isn't that what they said about My Sister Wife's Closet?
Yes, they were having a hard time selling the jewelry in St. George, and that's when Robyn said, it doesn't have to mean literally a sister wife, it could just mean a bestie.
I can't believe they tried to sell jewelry to an extremely small minority that is famous for not having any money.
Yes.
It's the worst demographic.
Well, that's why they tried to extend that to be female friend or superwoman. That's what SW could stand for, you know?
Oh, let's put some girl power spin on our patriarchal bull.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Janelle and Christine specify once more that Meri and Robyn are ex-sister wives. They don't have the same bond with them post-Kody. Janelle suspects Meri and Robyn are still besties due to having more in common, but we know that Robyn and Meri aren't close anymore. That ship sailed a long time ago, so this is just an indication that Janelle has no clue what is going on with that branch of the family.
Yes, that ship sailed and sunk.
Mm-hmm. The two ladies talk about Meri for a few minutes. They both agree she deserves a loving relationship. Janelle thinks that would be a game changer for the very loyal woman. Christine speculates that Meri still believes in the AUB, just like Janelle. This is due to Meri going through the hoops to get a spiritual release. Christine brings up the notion where Robyn claimed you could technically get a spiritual divorce without authority by having sex with another man. Christine laughs at the thought. Janelle somewhat agrees with Robyn, saying that dogma was preached and believed by many members of the faith. Janelle makes clear that their marriages were sacred. They weren't just a bunch of baby mamas sleeping with the same guy. There were boundaries of where their family ended. Kody has no clue what sort of karmic connection, aka what sort of afterlife he would face regarding his plural marriages, or lack thereof. For some reason, he doesn't think a spiritual divorce from his exes were necessary due to the potential karmic connection those plural marriages had. This man is so all over the place. I thought he claimed he didn't believe in the faith anymore.
He can go back and forth on stuff. He obviously is very unhappy with how everything is shaken out. It feels like he's crazy confused. I think it'd be better for him to give up on polygamy, obviously, but you can take the dopey wiglet having weirdo out of polygamy, but can you take the polygamy out of the dopey wiglet having loser?
It's a mouthful.
Yes.
Which, again, I don't think he can practice that because he has it on his record that he abandoned Meri. Robyn for sure believes Janelle is still married to Kody and wants Janelle to sort that out ASAP.
Yes, because Robyn understands the world like a child.
And that you need to go through the proper channels to dissolve your marriage. Kody thinks maybe it doesn't matter what his ex-wives do. God will sort it out in the end.
I mean, yeah?
Christine and Janelle talk about land again. Janelle says Tata Farms is in need of money. In other words, she needs Kody to buy her out in order to kickstart her new business. She admits she was a fool for putting in money into Robyn's house, thinking that in due time that investment would cycle back to her. That never happened, so the next step is to hire a lawyer. She is so sick of Robyn and Kody revising history in terms of how each household was allocated money.
Don't we find out in about 2 seconds that Janelle is rewriting history to make it look like she wasn't going to get money?
Sort of. All of this is not really important until we know how the family pot was funded and distributed.
Because Janelle in just a second is about to tell us that she was offered a lot of money but turned it down and regrets that.
We'll get to it. Let me go in order. Okay. The Brown family expert speaks up about this. Robyn didn't feel there were problems concerning the money. This was how they always worked. She always felt things were balanced. Of course, the one who is taking all the money feels things are balanced. She also purports to have contributed a good deal of money into the family pot, which I will say, Robyn, the amount of money you contributed doesn't really count if you're withdrawing the same, if not more money from it. She came into the family with a lot of debt. She, Kody, and their children are now currently in a $2.1 million house. They supposedly still want, 50% of Coyote Pass.
Okay.
Something is not adding up.
The finances of the Browns are dog shit, and we've known that since season 1.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is Robyn is taking more than her equal share.
Possibly. Unless somebody actually figures out their money, it's all just Schrodinger's money situation.
Kody says that he is not responsible for Janelle's financial situation since she bought a luxurious camper instead of buying Christine's house. Again, I'm not sure how the finances worked. The Browns keep saying they had individual and family accounts. I always assumed Janelle bought her $80,000 RV with her own money. I don't know how much she earned from her side businesses, because I speculated a couple episodes ago that the family pot was funded by their TLC paychecks. If that is the case, I do see Kody's point. Janelle shouldn't have bought her fifth wheel. She should have bought a house.
I heard it as Kody was saying that they were going to use money from the family pot to buy Janelle Christine's old house, and that would just be money that was given to Janelle, almost like the investments returning in cycle, like Janelle just said they didn't. Because that's what they did with Christine. They bought Christine's house, right? And then Christine used that to eject herself from the family. And they were going to buy that house from Christine and give it to Janelle, which Janelle could have used to eject herself from the family, which instead she spent her own money on an RV.
Yeah.
Instead of taking the money from Kody, which Janelle in this scene tells us that she regrets.
Her excuse for not wanting to buy a house was because she didn't like how Christine's house looked, which to me isn't the best justification.
It's a free house.
I guess she could have gone with some other Flagstaff house. She sort of agrees that she should have done exactly that, saying that money could have gone to her North Carolina projects.
You didn't have to live in it. You could have pulled a Meri and just had a house.
She could have been renting in her small apartment, but still have the house in her name.
You could have just kept it as an asset, but you rejected the asset and then complained about not getting money back for whatever reason.
Because, again, I don't know if the $80,000 still equals to how much Kody and Robyn are hiding whatever equity is in their house.
The way that I heard it when they said it is that Janelle spent her own money on this RV because she didn't have access to the family pot, because apparently Kody's got the key to the family pot. He was about to give her money, lots of money, as per their family tradition of giving money to the people who need it. And she said, no, I'm going to be strong and independent and lose a lot of money.
Post-editing Angie again. This thought just occurred whilst I was editing. Janelle didn't want to buy a house because she thought that would delay building on the land. Buying Christine's house would certainly take a huge chunk out of the family funds. I'm not sure why she didn't bring up this issue during her interstitial.
I was thinking maybe Janelle could just sell her RV. It's obviously going to be less than what she paid for, but something is better than nothing.
Yes.
I think people are saying the RV has been winterized. It's in storage right now.
Putting an RV like that in storage costs so much money. You could rent a small apartment for how much money it costs to put an RV like that in storage. It's obnoxious. I don't know. She, I guess, could take a bath on that and just get as much money as she can and cut her losses.
Yeah. Maybe she's saving it because she still wants the RV life dream. We arrive in Shreveport, Louisiana. The three adults leave Truly behind at a hotel to go to Fatty Arbuckle's pub to take some shots. Christine is very excited. She doesn't mind being a bad influence on Janelle. Janelle says she needs that since she doesn't know how to order drinks for herself. The two ladies don't know what to order. David recommends a combo mix of butterscotch and Bailey's, nicknamed the Slippery Nipple.
Yeah.
He advises Janelle to down it in one go because it's too unpleasant tasting to just sip.
Yes.
They toast to new beginnings and great adventures. Janelle has a hard time with its smell. Her verdict? It's not that bad. She reckons David went easy on her for her first shot. She does recognize how sweet the drink was. Personally, I never had shots. I know they do have a burning sensation as opposed to wine.
They're just alcohol-y, in my opinion.
I socially drink. I don't ever buy my own alcohol.
Yeah.
Tim never drinks because he thinks all alcohol tastes like insecticide.
Like nail polish remover. I can't get past that taste unless I really want to.
So, teach their own.
Yeah, it's acquired taste.
Janelle is starting to feel that tingly sensation in her legs. She talks about her upbringing in a church that abstained from both alcohol and coffee, which makes sense since Janelle grew up mainstream LDS. In one episode, Robyn did purport that the AUB doesn't really follow those same guidelines.
The mainstream LDS church believes that you shouldn't drink coffee, and that's actually something that our church it's more of advice for good health. For us in our family, it's a personal choice. Some of us drink coffee and some of us don't.
This morning we're going to go to a local breakfast bistro for breakfast.
Called the Coffee Shack. It's a coffee shack.
I'm not going to drink
It's not a
coffee,
bistro.
so I'm going to call it a bistro.
I'm making coffee because at breakfast the coffee was horrible. Horrible. That was pretty good, I think. Horrible. I'm speaking Boston. You can have whatever coffee you want. I made you some coffee.
Thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure.
But I remember in season 3, during the episode when the kids were scoping out colleges on the East Coast, Christine was saying she would have coffee in a Boston accent. But I guess, as Robyn says, it's a personal choice.
It's because the whole coffee and alcohol thing wasn't a mandatory Mormon thing until after polygamy was gotten rid of. And so the AUB and fundamentalist religions don't believe that it's a real commandment because it wasn't at the time that polygamy was a thing. So it makes sense that they wouldn't think that it was super important. That being said, they would believe that Joseph Smith said that it's not great, but they wouldn't believe that it was a sin. It's complicated.
Christine says she's deconstructed all of those complicated rules to be some sort of control by their former church. She clearly doesn't adhere to these tenets anymore. Janelle explains this development. As their family became more distant from their congregation, some of the adults stepped outside the religious norms of their faith. They gradually started consuming alcohol for social gatherings, and that later extended to whenever they went out. Janelle says Christine drinks, as does Kody. Janelle is unsure about Meri.
Which is funny because I think the fandom has always just assumed that Meri drank a lot.
I don't want to start any allegations.
Oh no, that's just the assumption.
We'll get to her. Kody says he has drank whiskey before. He is surprised that people drink it at all since he compares its taste to gasoline.
Don't lump me in with Kody.
Meri divulges that she's had a shot in the past, but it was an unpleasant experience.
If you're Mormon trying alcohol for the first time, it can be pretty rough. That's all there is to say about it.
Meri describes the shot as nasty and does not even remember its name. Meri goes on to say she's never been drunk. If you've ever watched one of Meri's Facebook Lives, she does act as if she's intoxicated.
That is so inappropriate. This is so inappropriate. Oh, look what Carrie Williamson just said. She's so smart. You might want to pay attention to what Carrie Williamson just said. That's what most people think, Matthew. I just know how to have a lot of fun without drinking. I'm sorry you don't. You should try it sometime. You're so funny, Matthew Michael. I'm gonna lose you off of my page so you don't have to come bother us again. Okay, bye.
So, who knows? I don't want to make any assumptions, so I'll just leave it at that.
So you're saying that in the scene where they were painting the wall, they were just high off of paint fumes?
I think that they're just immature. They give me middle school humor vibes, Jenn and Meri.
Yeah, they really do.
Robyn says she's never really been in a bar before. So I will say she has been to an Irish pub. That was the episode when the wives went to San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And a fan did spot her in a bar dancing with Kody. I guess she's being wishy-washy in her statement because perhaps she didn't consume any alcohol whilst she was there.
Maybe.
But yeah, that's a lie, Robyn. You have been to a bar.
Maybe she's just so unperceptive that she could have been in a bar and didn't even realize it.
Maybe. I think she's being full of shit.
I think she's a little bit of both.
Overall, Janelle's first experience at a bar was pretty good. She likes the ambiance and the company. The episode ends with Kody not fully grasping of where he is with Janelle. He feels there is something wrong with how they ended things. There was no closure since Janelle just left him out of her life. The more he overanalyzes it, the more hurt he feels. Janelle isn't perturbed in the slightest. She is looking forward to being a North Carolinian business owner at 55. She has closed this chapter in Flagstaff and is eager for the next one. That scene felt, again, sad, knowing what's going to happen. Clearly, Janelle didn't know anything. It's just heartbreaking what sorts of things were in store.
Yeah.
I guess we won't find out more until the tell-all, which is apparently going to air in spring.
I still don't think they're going to tell us anything.
According to the preview, Suki tries to question Janelle if she would be interested in a guy who was also a farmer. And then Christine, I think, has tea on whether Robyn and Kody were chaste before marriage.
Okay.
And for some reason, Kody is upset at Suki for bringing up his tryst in college. Like, you said that, dude. Don't go after Suki.
We got speculation, and something we already know about.
Mm-hmm. Are you interested in recapping it?
Oh, God, no.
Okay. I'm not interested in what the fate of Coyote Pass is going to be, or what else this family of history revisionists are going to say.
You're not incredibly interested in these women getting their assets out of Coyote Pass?
No. Again, I'm not interested in a reality show where people talk about the money they get from the reality show.
You're not interested in potato farms? You're not interested in Christine becoming a business owner?
Mm-mm. So, can I have a summary?
In this exciting episode of Sister Wives, we see Robyn, Kody, and Aurora have a heavily scripted but also extremely spiritual conversation about baptism. Meri and Jenn hold a party to celebrate our years-long affection towards Madeline. We see Janelle have her first super secret move since leaving Lehi. They go to a box that has a couple of severed heads in it. And then we go to a bar and see David, Christine, and Janelle suck down some slippery nipples.
All right. So, I'm not sure if we will recap the rest of this season come spring. So, in the meantime, please enjoy this karaoke version of the outro. You should know it well enough to sing along by now. So, bye!